Okay, hello and welcome to episode 7 of the JOBCAST, the Employment Support Team's podcast that aims to help you build the skills and confidence you need to find work. I'm Dan.
And I'm Francesca. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about self-employment and running your own business. Self-employment isn't always about being an entrepreneur, but also it's about the smaller businesses and people who enjoy the flexibility of working for themselves. We're also joined by Adriana from WSX Enterprise, who's going to tell us a bit more about their Speed You Up Young Entrepreneur Programme. Welcome, Adriana.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for inviting me today. I am really very happy that I will be able to share some information about the program I coordinate. As you know, my name is Adriana and I am a program coordinator of Speed You Up. I am also a trainer of this program. So the program is delivered at schools, but also in charities, training centers, and we also work closely with Job Centre Plus and Surrey County Council and Hampshire councils.
Brilliant. And can I just ask, how's your project funded?
Okay, so the project is funded by the European Regional Development Plan. And thanks to this funding, the program is free of charge. So there are no costs involved whatsoever when delivering the course.
Brilliant, thank you. So we'll be talking to Adriana more about Speed You Up later on. But first, we thought that we'd just talk about self-employment, and Dan has some really interesting facts for us.
Yeah, that's right. I've managed to find some stats hidden away on the internet. According to the Federation of Small Businesses, at the start of 2020, there were 5.9 million small businesses in the UK. And according to the Office for National Statistics, there were 17,900 people who were self-employed and lived in Southampton in 2020. And also one that I thought was quite interesting, another ONS study in 2020 found that 1 in 5, about 21% of 16 to 21-year-olds said that they think it's likely that they'll be self-employed at some point in the future. So it's worth pointing out, obviously, that a lot of those facts were before the pandemic, and we know that self-employed people have been hit pretty hard by the pandemic. But actually, now as things are opening up again, we're seeing that actually it's still a viable option, and a lot of people are starting to explore that route again. So that's why we thought we'd discuss it in this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know that back in 2019, it seems like, a long time ago now, but I did my dissertation and my research on self-employment, and obviously we were running our own self-employment project and things. And I think it's really interesting because Southampton is known and has some really high stats for people being self-employed and business startups and things. And actually, through doing the project and things, I think you can see why it's on the increase, because people are able to work it around families and responsibilities, and and also their own health conditions and disabilities and things as well. I think it's definitely, I think, the way forward for a lot of people. But I'm also really aware that something that people don't always think about is the isolation. So working, self-employed, if you're working from home, unless your job is about going out and networking or having the contact with customers and things, then actually, it can be really, really isolating. I know that, my experience of having sort of had our own business with my mum, and we were florists, and, it was a really, really successful business. And it wasn't always isolating when you were talking to the brides and when you were talking to the families of whatever flowers and things you're doing. But when you're sat there doing the flowers, unless my mum and I were in the room together, you could spend hours and not talk to people. And, even doing quotes and things, it can be really isolating.
It works for some people as well, though, doesn't it? I think I know a lot of the clients that I met when we ran the self-employment project. Actually, a big appeal for them was that they were able to work on their own, get on with it, and enjoy their own company.
Yeah.
I agree with you that self-employment can be actually a bit isolating, but for example, here in WSX, we encourage business owners to take part in different events or training offered via Zoom or in any other online form, which allows business owners to kind of meet up and exchange their thoughts and experiences, and most of all learn and develop their skills. So yes, it can be isolating experience, but there are so many different options these days where business owners can actually connect with each other and be able to look after their well-being by getting in touch with other businesses, other business owners, or training providers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think going back, so we started the business 14 years ago, and looking to see how things have changed now. So I'm just thinking about the amount of times I'd have to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go to business networking breakfast for 6:30, and literally walk through the door and be all smiles and all up for networking and then have this breakfast. And actually inside I was just thinking, I could still be in bed right now. But, obviously with COVID and things, lots of those stops all moved online. And I think if nothing else, the pandemic and the lockdowns and things have really encouraged people to start looking at their own well-being and reaching out in different ways. It's not all about networking face to face now. I think there's, people have seen that it works really well to do it via Zoom, to do this really random thing of picking up the phone and having a conversation with somebody and just introducing yourself. I've seen an increase in sort of LinkedIn sort of conversations and sort of people linking together that way as well. It's been really interesting. But yeah, I have to say I don't miss those morning networking breakfasts at all.
Actually, I'm really glad that you mentioned this experience, because you actually highlighted many skills which are so important to have if you are a business owner. So yes, definitely you need to be dedicated, get up sometimes really early and work not very sociable hours. And also another skill which is so important is adaptability, where you really need to adapt your way of working, way of thinking, and be keen on learning new things which will allow you to deliver your business and develop your business.
Yeah, definitely. We had it sounds a bit stupid really, but as we came across the early days of setting up the business, we come across all these things that we didn't know how to do, or we need to do a bit more research on it for us. And in our workroom, we had basically, it was a glorified washing line, but we then kind of like pegged on the different things that we needed to challenge. So each week, my mum and I would both take one each. We'd do the research, or do what we had to do, and then we'd feed back to each other. So it was just a way of just visualising really kind of what needed to be done, but also then sharing that knowledge. And it was a way of trying to make it a little bit more fun and just sort of stand out really. But, well, put two creatives in a room, what you do.
Well, I think that nails it, doesn't it? In actually setting up a business, there's no, for all of the support that's out there and all of the workshops and training, there's still no handbook on how to run a business. It's a unique experience for everyone, and I think that kind of like you say, just breaking it down into one thing at a time, figuring one thing out, and then you know it, move on to the next. It's a great way to approach it.
Yeah.
If I may add, yes, I totally agree. And this is so important that you both mentioned this, because many young people, especially who think about setting up a business, they believe that they need to have certain knowledge and be educated in all areas of the business development in order to start a business, which is not true. It is not possible to know everything before you set up a business. Therefore, it is so important to acknowledge it and acknowledge that you learn as you go. You learn on your mistakes, and there will be no doubt lots of mistakes and lots of errors. But the good thing is about having your own business that you can always start from the beginning. And the experience you gain as you go is very, very precious. This is something which will stay with you for your life and will help you to do better and better in your business.
Yeah, definitely. I think also the really important thing is to remember that although you're a specialist or an expert in whatever it is, so in my case it was floristry, although you're not an expert in all of the other things that you need to do, you have to consider it. So things like, finance, absolutely my pet hate. I hate anything to do with finance, and I'll run away from it if I can. I let my mum get on and do that bit, but also thinking about publicity, the social media, the marketing, the booking into events so that you can sort of publicise your business. All of those things, the customer service, it's not always just about the actual business, it's about what's around it as well. And like you say, it's building up the experience and resilience as well, to engage in that. I mean, wedding fairs and things are really scary things. And the first couple we did, my mum and I just hated it because it felt really daunting. Loved the customers coming and talking to us about the flowers, that was great. But it was all the other stall holders. It was a really intimidating environment. And actually it's about building up that resilience, that confidence and things as well to just to build your business really. But yeah, I think in my experience though, everybody's always so happy to offer help. So, if you ask another small business, whether it's networking, whether you're part of FFB, whatever it is, if you need help, there's always someone who's there willing to point you in the right direction, or even, we've kind of done a couple of things where we've sort of bartered. So, somebody's looked at our tax returns for us, and in return, we've given them, quarterly bunches of flowers, or, people are happy to do stuff because they recognise that actually, small start-up businesses, you just need to help each other. So it's not always a cash value.
I found that as well, actually, when I was, so the majority of my self-employment knowledge comes through supporting clients on self-employment projects, and so I was kind of learning with them as we went. But I was amazed actually at just how much was out there. And so we talked about like the peer support groups and stuff, but also, like you say, just people just willing to help each other out. And I was expecting it to be, really competitive for my clients, and that, I'd ask people for some advice and they wouldn't give it because they were a competitor. But it was the complete opposite actually. And we even had clients who were, running very similar businesses, very similar industries that they worked in, and they would help each other out just because they know what it's like. And that was a really nice surprise actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. When I deliver the Speed You Up program, I very often tell the learners, and I haven't mentioned that the learners of Speed You Up are of age from 16 to 25. So they are relatively young and very often the beginning of the journey of owning a business. So yes, at the beginning, they have to do absolutely everything related to their business. As you, Francesca, said, you have to be a finance person, you have to be a marketing person and sales person, all of these things. But what is fantastic that really there are fantastic resources on internet, and there are colleagues, as Dan mentioned, across sector, who are really happy and keen to help. And the competition, of course, there is a competition, but people are so keen to share information, share their experiences and knowledge, because at the end of the day, they are all in the same kind of world of business owning, and I think it really unites people, and this is a wonderful experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think for me, I loved with the self-employment project and things. I loved seeing people being able to grow their ideas. So they'd come to us with a bit of well, they'd come to Dan really, but they'd come to Dan with a bit of a concept. This is kind of what I want to do, and then watching them grow and then have, you know, achieve what they wanted to achieve. I think for me, that was, you know, it was just wonderful. There's one person that particularly sort of sticks in my mind, and you know, the journey that they took, just personally and professionally, just nobody would know right now. You know, when they saw the website, when they, you know, have contact with the individual, they would never know just how much they've overcome in order to achieve their dream, and you know, they're doing it and it's successful, and it's a business that's managed to survive COVID. So, you know, it's I think for me that's just brilliant. It's just listening to people's stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I agree. This is a journey. Setting up a business and entrepreneurship, this is a real journey. And this, what you just said, it relates to a business planning where you have this business idea, which is born out of nowhere very often. And then as you follow your business plan, this idea may change into something totally different. It may result in totally different other business initiatives, and this is the beauty of it, that one idea can give branches of other ideas, and you can end up with a business which is maybe not very much related to the initial business idea at some point. And this is also, in my view, a very positive thing, that business planning and how you go about your business changes constantly, develops, and gives at each step of running a business new opportunities. I think this is a great advantage of being a business owner.
I found it as well, actually, that on the self-employment project, we'd have clients that would come to us with their idea, and it would be viable, and we'd support them, and they'd start trading, and actually they found that it wasn't what they wanted to do. Actually, they gave it a go, and so, you know, they'd come to me and they would be, you know, I'm so sorry, you've given me all of this help and it hasn't worked. And actually, I just turned around and said, actually, that's not the case. It's, you know, you've still developed. You've come from one person to become another, and you know, it comes down to, it feels like we talk about it on every podcast we do, but the transferable skills that you get from that, well, actually, that's going to help that person move into employment or something that they do want to do. And actually, you know, every experience, whether it's good or bad, whether it's successful or not, is a really good thing to learn from, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time.
Yeah, and I think it's also about kind of, you know, it's right for some people and it's not right for others. And unless you actually give it a go, you don't know. And it could be something that's all you've ever wanted to do, is have your own business and you try it. at least you tried it. It's better to try it and decide it's not for you than for you to then have years of just regret of, I should have done it, I should have just given it a go. Because actually, you know, you can start up a business with very minimal startup costs. Some businesses appreciate it, not all, but you know, my mum and I, we started literally, it was like, okay, well, we'll buy everything as we go, so we'll get the flowers. And we were doing, you know, £3,000 weddings of flowers around my parents' kitchen table. And you know, the first couple of weddings we did, literally, I mean, you know, for those of you who know me, I'm quite short anyway, and the buckets that all the flowers come in are quite tall, and we're having to step over them and have flowers in our hands because the space wasn't big enough. And you know, I look back at it now and just think, oh my God, what must we have looked like? At least nobody who was paying us for the services, you know, saw us kind of in this. But that's the reality of having a small business. That's the reality of starting up. And you know, now it gives me many happy sort of memories, even though working till 4 o'clock in the morning, having an hour's sleep, and then having to go set up the church for flowers is not glamorous. And I think that's the other thing, is that starting up businesses, having your own business isn't always glamorous. You don't get to just switch off at 5 o'clock and log on at 9 o'clock. Actually, if it's your own business, especially for the first couple of years, I think you need to be prepared to work whatever hours you need to. And you know, and that's part of that dedication. I think, Adriana, you spoke about earlier, it's about being flexible. So as much as having your own business allows you to be flexible, you also have to be flexible in order to put the time in to the business as well.
Of course, and again, I'm glad that you are mentioning it, because many famous entrepreneurs these days, they started small. It isn't that you wake up and one day you have this great, massive company and lots of employees working for you. So you are very right. You start small, but you can expand as you go. And I believe that if you have this business idea, this passion, it is all possible, and it is definitely worth trying a business idea and checking how this can develop and how it can transform. But with regards to working time, which you mentioned, yes, definitely you have to work really hard. If this is your passion, the long working hours are not a problem at all. However, I always tell our learners at Speed You Up that it is so important at the same time, even if your business is your greatest passion, to have this balance of social life, family life, and have some time for yourself to reflect on this, what you do, but also just to have simply a break, because it can be very tiring, and it is important, very important, to find this balance straight from the beginning of business initiative.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I was thinking of is that it's also really important, it certainly was for us, that you kept learning, so you didn't stay stagnant. So, you know, we would go and do different courses with other sort of florists and different businesses and things, just to learn some new techniques, to learn, you know, to kind of just keep updated. And like our wholesalers would sort of do open days, and we'd have lots of florists sort of come over from Holland and things, and they just run workshops. But I think, you know, there were several florists that we've worked with in the past, and they questioned why we were spending so much money in attending these other events and things. And I think it's just about being able to then keep that competitiveness there. So, you know, I think it's really important that you have that sparkle factor. You've got, you know, the competitive advantage, and, you know, something artistic, it's not always going to float everybody's boat. That's the whole joy of art. But it's the same with every business, isn't it? It's the same if you're a cleaning company. What's your unique selling point? where do you know, I've used the word sparkle and then clean, I just thought that's probably a terrible name there, but you know, why do you stand out? Why should somebody use you rather than the other person? It can't always just be about cost, it has to be about something else. So it might be, you know, you'll only use eco-friendly product, or you've got you're carbon neutral, you know, or whatever it is. I think it's really important that people really think about making themselves stand out.
Yeah.
Of course.
So,
And also, if I may add, it is about knowing your customers. It is about knowing what they want, what they need. It is about thinking, okay, how can I deliver whatever service or product they want? And Francesca, you are very rightly said, attending events, meeting with people who do similar business and doing the constant research of what is popular, what isn't. This is so important, because at the end of the day, you need to be at the top of it and know what your customers want from you.
Definitely. I'm going to show a little bit of geekiness now, just so that, you know, Dan doesn't show us all up with his well-known back. But, you know, there are some really interesting tools out there. So there's a business canvas that will help you kind of work around kind of what you want your business to look like, what barriers you might come across, and all of these things can be used for planning, but also in kind of just business development. But probably one of my favourite strategies and things, which is something that I love, and most people think about blue sky thinking, but this is called the Blue Ocean strategy. So it's Renee Mulburn and W. Chan Kim, and basically it's about kind of thinking about, we'll take cleaning as an example. So, you know, there are lots of cleaners out there, lots of self-employed cleaners and everything else. And where there's lots of competition, everybody's charging about the same, everybody's services are about the same. That's kind of like the red ocean. But where you want to be is you want to be in the blue ocean, which is where you have the competitive advantage, where you're offering something a little bit different, where actually your competitors really aren't competitors, because if your customers are looking for whatever it is you're offering, then that's kind of where they're going to go. So you're going to draw them into the blue sort of ocean. And I've used the strategy a few times. Unfortunately, I learned it after the forestry company. So I think, you know, it would definitely be something that I'd use again, but I've used it within the employment support team. And I think it's, you know, it's a really good way to just think about where your business is and think about your barriers. And the barriers are sometimes competitors. They don't always have to be, but sometimes they are. But also looking at the collaborations that you can have. So we were part of a collaboration between a funeral director and a photographer and us. And the photographer thing sounds a little bit weird. It worked. But basically, it kind of allowed us that if we were going out and doing a consultation around funerals and things, then if they didn't have, I don't know, somebody in mind, then we were able to kind of signpost. And it's about that collaborative approach. It's that supporting each other, isn't it, in businesses. And yeah, we had collaboration, I can't remember the name of the group now, I think it was New Forest Weddings or something. We had that as well, and again, I mean, that one just grew. We ended up with all sorts, party planners, chocolate makers, all sorts. but you know, it all helped. Adriana, so thanks so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed the conversation and things that we've had. So it would be really great to hear some more about the Speed You Up project. Are you able to tell us a bit more about it?
Of course. So Speed You Up Young Entrepreneur Program is a program which is European funded and is delivered at the same time in France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and here in the UK. Actually, we have two other partners in the UK. Devon Mind is one of them, and the other Bournemouth University. I am based in Aldershot and I represent WSX Enterprise, a company which manages lots of different self-employment projects, and one of them is Speed You Up, which I coordinate, and I deliver a training as well. And the program itself is about self-employment and is for young people aged 16 to 25 who were maybe thinking about setting up a business, or also for those who have actually no idea what they want to do in the future. We really hope that this program would encourage young people to try out setting up a business and learn more about skills needed in self-employment. The program talks about business idea, how to generate a business idea, and then how to plan your business. And within business planning, there are lots of different aspects. There is everything from marketing and communication, how you do your market research, customers, and so on. So all of it comes into business planning. But most importantly, what we want to achieve is not only to encourage young people to set up businesses, but also to encourage them to develop further, to ensure that they will stay on this educational path and try to learn more about either business, setting up a business, or about subject area they are passionate about, which would help them then to set up their business.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you. Oh, great. I can't wait to be one of the coaches to train and see what ideas young people come up with.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I can't wait.
Yes, I am so happy, very happy that you decided to participate, because your experience and your enthusiasm is so much needed. And I believe that there will be so many young people interested in this subject. Just to add that initially we scheduled for the program to consist of a minimum 5 sessions. So the sessions are around all the topics I mentioned, like, for example, skills needed in business and so on. But we could be very flexible with regards to the coaching and how we deliver the program for these learners who are coming outside schools. So as long as the learners will maintain this minimum of 5 contact points with yourself, that would be fantastic. And of course, the program caters individuals and groups. It would be lovely to have groups of learners, because then they can interact and share their experiences or ask questions. But at the same time, we are happy to deliver the course to individuals and ensure that everyone who thinks about setting up a business will be able to attend the program. Speed You Up, actually, I haven't mentioned this yet, started last year and will end, the project will end in either September 2022, or if there will be an extension to the project, in March 2023. So we have a really long time to develop the program and deliver it to many people who are residents of Hampshire or Surrey and who are unemployed, because this is one of the requirements. So there are 3 requirements in order to qualify for the course. The learners need to be aged 16 to 25, be unemployed, and live in Hampshire or Surrey. They can be in education or not. This doesn't affect their participation, but they must be unemployed and, in addition, not earn any money at the same time. So this is very important to underline.
Yeah, we'll put a link and everything into the Speak Up website. So if anyone is interested, then they can find out more and get some support.
Definitely. And if you're in Southampton, then make sure you keep an eye out for when we run the course, and we'll, glad we'll have you on and look forward to it.
Lovely. Actually, Dan yesterday attended a meeting for coaches across Europe, coaches who deliver the program in the countries I mentioned, so Belgium, the Netherlands and France. What I love about this project is that at the same time, same program is delivered in so many regions of Europe, and that we have this passion in common to help young people to set up their businesses, and that there are so many people like us across Europe who actually are helping learners at the moment. I think this is a great feeling.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's brilliant. So thank you so much, Adriana, for joining us and talking about these really exciting opportunities. So we're coming towards the end of the podcast now, but what I thought would be quite fun for me, I don't know about Francesca and Adriana, but I've got a short quiz that I've prepared. 3 questions related to business or self-employment in some way. So yeah, let's see
Yeah, let's go for it.
Question 1, I'm going to take you back to 1999, and 2 British men started a fashion business which copied clothes that were worn by popular celebrities. But do you know what is the name of the brand they created?
Can I say?
Yeah.
Dolce and Gabbana.
Okay. What about you?
Seriously,
I
I
know.
can't see your notes, Dan. I don't know. You've seen how I dress, Dan. It's not like I really follow high street kind of trends. I don't know. I want to say it's something a little bit current. 2 men.
2 men, 2 British men.
Oh, British. Sorry, I didn't get this clue. So definitely not Dolce and Gabbana. Sorry. No, I will think again. One moment. I'm not into fashion.
No.
I'm not going to mention a very famous shop, high street shop, I shop, not very expensive one.
I'm clueless. I have no idea.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
The answer to that one is ASOS, and I found out ASOS actually apparently it stands for as seen on screen.
Oh,
and should point out other clothing brands are available. So question 2. So we've all seen The Apprentice, Lord Sugar. He's got 2 assistants on the programme. Which of his assistant though was the small business ambassador to the UK government?
Can I Google it?
If you know the answer, you go for it, because I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I can wholeheartedly say I've never watched The Apprentice.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. It's Karen Brady.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, she was the small business ambassador to the government.
Oh, interesting. You know that I actually met her 2 years ago. There was a conference for women in business in Farnborough, and she was one of the guest speakers at this event, and she was fantastic. She was so inspirational and full of advice and experience she shared with everyone. And this relates to this what you both said, that people in business, they are so keen on sharing their knowledge with others. So yes.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, it's almost like the plan.
Oh no, right?
Yeah. All right, so final question, last chance to redeem yourselves. In the British banking system, what do the letters BACS stand for? Well, you said that you don't like finance, but
Yeah.
that's probably the best question for you.
No, not really.
Did you say in banking?
Yeah.
I wanted to joke and say, is it bucks, like dollars? But no, I don't think this.
No.
You Googling it?
No. No.
Maybe Bankers Association.
I
No.
can't even subtly find it. I have no idea now. I can't subtly find it on here.
It stands for Bankers Automated Clearing Service,
Of course it does.
which most of you guess.
Absolutely. I did.
Yeah. So yeah, that was
Thanks, Dan, for making both of us
Thank you.
clear.
Yes.
I will also say I had no idea of the answers to any of those questions either.
Yeah.
Unless I was the quiz master. You can be quiz master.
I will be the next time.
Yeah, you're a bench.
But actually, picking up on something very quickly that Adriana said about the fact that you've seen her, I can't remember her name.
Karen Brady.
Yeah, Karen Brady sort of present and with an inspirational speaker. Also makes me think about if you do start setting up businesses, make sure you put yourself in for local awards around sort of local entrepreneur. There's the Wedding Suppliers Awards, there's the Venus Women's Awards, there's all these different awards, and I think it's really important that you have the confidence to put yourself forward and to nominate yourself and get your customers to nominate you, because that's also just going to take your business up to that next level. It's going to raise a bit more awareness of your business, but also you don't know who you're going to be sat around. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to have proper award ceremonies again. But you don't know necessarily who you're going to be sharing your table with, and it could be the next person that's going to take your business to that next level. And so that was the one thing I wanted to say, is make sure you're proud of your brand and that you do shout about it and nominate yourself for awards.
Definitely.
I agree actually with that, and that's why this is so important to, for example, take advantage of social media like Twitter or Instagram, where you can connect to other people who are constantly visible and constantly advertising their services or products, and join them in this conversation. And yes, join different initiatives, clubs, associations, and awards, which there are, if there are any.
So this isn't on the notes that Dan made. I never stick to the notes.
Okay.
So we're going totally off piece now. But Adriana, what one piece of advice would you offer somebody who was looking at starting up their own business?
I would say definitely go for it. Don't hesitate, because your business idea is a unique idea, even if there will be lots of similar services or products around. If you have a passion for something, definitely go for it. On the other hand, please don't worry if you don't have a passion at the moment. Try to learn, try to explore, and gather as many new experiences as possible, because eventually you will find this business idea, and then once you have this idea, just go for it, because if not now, then when?
Yeah, no, absolutely, totally agree. Dan, what about you?
I would say my advice would be put yourself out there as much as you can. Networking, social media, formal, informal, just take every opportunity that comes your way. Any training you can do, any support that you can get, just make the most of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think mine would be don't be afraid to ask for help. And that can be, you know, both from professionals, but also, you know, just other people who are in similar situations to you, or put something out on Facebook or, you know, Instagram, whatever it is, but just don't sit and worry about things. If you don't know the answer, ask the question, because somebody will always have the answer. Or if they don't have the answer, they'll be able to suggest where you can go to get help. So, you know, we are really lucky in Southampton. We've got all sorts of different hubs, and there's the Stolen Growth Hub, which has so much different, you know, information and pointers and everything else. So I'd definitely just reach out, but yeah, just ask for help. So I guess that's all for today's episode. Make sure that you join us next month for more employment advice and conversation. But please don't forget to send us your thoughts and comments. All of the contact details that you need are on our accesssouthampton.co.uk/jobcast. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.